Welcome back all the fans and followers of space fiction. Would you like to visit the moon? If so, today we will talk about what real moon colonization should look like and how to build a permanent lunar base. First of all, let's talk about how permanent settlement of the moon should not look like. If someone shows you a picture of various buildings, modules and objects on the surface of the moon and calls it a lunar base, you can be sure that you are looking at complete nonsense. Such modules can only be used for short-term settlement, for example as temporary accommodation for workers. But they are very dangerous for the permanent crew. Living on the surface of the moon is much more dangerous than living on Earth. It's even more dangerous than living on Mars. Why? Every day the surface of the moon is bombarded by space objects that hit it at tremendous speeds. While asteroid-sized objects are not the only problem. Even one well-aimed space rock the size of an apple would be enough to completely destroy a populated station. The second, no less important factor is that the lunar surface is in no way protected from cosmic radiation. It comes not only from the sun, but also from distant space, and its long-term effects on humans are fatal. The Earth protects us from radiation with its magnetic field and dense atmosphere. But the moon does not have these properties. The last important factor is the huge temperature difference between day and night and the constant vacuum around the station. Here you might say that even the International Space Station has been overcoming temperature differences and vacuum for years. That is true, but vacuum and temperature differences are the reasons why the construction of space modules is very difficult and expensive. And we don't want that. After all, we want a simple and relatively cheap solution to build a permanent lunar base. So how to build a permanently habitable lunar base that would easily withstand all dangers and at the same time it would not be extremely expensive? Very simply. How to start? Let's talk about the tools first. We have to start the colonization of the moon by getting these three important machines on its surface: bulldozer, excavator and crane. A bulldozer is needed to level the surface. We need a flat surface not only to build the station, but also to create infrastructure such as roads for lunar vehicles or landing pads. An excavator is essential if we want to dig deeper below the surface. And the crane is not only for moving large objects from place to place, but also for lowering them into the created pits. The only way to protect yourself from all the dangers on the lunar surface is to burrow under the surface. Living under the surface of the moon has several advantages. Of course, habitable modules must be buried deep enough so that they have at least 5 to 10 meters of moon rocks above them. The deeper, the better. The rocks above the module can sufficiently protect us from small and medium-sized objects that could hit and destroy the base. Enough rocks can also prevent the penetration of cosmic radiation quite effectively. A buried habitable module would therefore need actually no insulation against dangerous radiation. Another great advantage of living underground is the stable ambient temperature. This applies not only to the moon, but also to the Earth and to every single space body. If you start digging under the surface of the planet, after just a few meters you will reach an environment that is thermally completely independent of the temperature of the planet's surface. On Earth you will find a stable temperature already 1 meter below the surface, and this temperature is approximately 7 degrees Celsius. On the moon it's a little bit deeper and colder, but already 2 meters below the surface you will find a stable temperature of around -30 to -40 degrees Celsius. The deeper you dig, the more stable and higher temperature will be. If we go even deeper, we can reach the melting temperature of water. And much deeper, we would also find a pleasant room temperature, which would also solve the heating of the base's interior spaces. And can the buried base also protect us from the vacuum? Definitely. If it is deep enough, the rocks that will press directly on the walls of the base will provide the walls with sufficient support against the high atmospheric pressure inside it. At a depth of approximately 41 meters below the lunar surface, the surrounding rock pressure should even be in complete balance with the station's atmospheric pressure. As a result, the walls of the station would be stressed by pressure only as much as the walls of your house on Earth. So almost not at all. But such modules for the lunar base must be brought to the surface of the Moon without an internal atmosphere. The pressurization for the crew must occur only after placement below the surface. As a result, it will be easier not only to manufacture them, but also to transport them to the Moon, as they would not be as heavy. Thus, an ideal lunar base should have most of its spaces completely hidden below the surface. Only a small part of it could be covered partially or not at all. There should be modules for exit to the surface, as well as secure parking lot for lunar vehicles. So if you want to move to the Moon, now you know how to quickly and easily build your own lunar base there. And let's not forget, if you want to help me so that I can finally build my own spaceship, click subscribe and support me on Patreon on the link in description. Thank you for watching, and the next time I fly by the Earth, I will send you another new video from the world of space fiction.